The landscape of Magic the Gathering card game is starting to change, but when will the player base really start to take notice? Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me on my YouTube channel. So when will players notice? What am I talking about? The price increases. The fact that prices continue to rise on sealed product is gonna cause players to rethink what they're doing. We already know players are starting to reach out more into the singles market. That's been shown here in the top 10 videos the last couple of months. As new products are dropping, players are not hitting sealed product. They are going ahead and buying the singles on the secondary market after they've been opened by stores, LGSs, and the few players who are, of course, still opening product. But that's not what I'm here to really drive home. We already know the singles are going. What's really going to happen is the would you rather game is going to really start taking effect. I used to have this series I would play once in a while for you guys here, and I would say, would you rather open, 2 boxes of this or get a reserve list card of this? The more that we see prices increasing, and because Wizards controls that pricing structure, players will start looking and saying, do I really want to spend, here in Canada, I guess it's like $170 a box now. Do I really want to buy cards that can be reprinted for $170? Or would I rather go onto the secondary market, look up and say, do I want to get a Metalworker, a Tolarian Academy? Do I want to get an Academy Rector? How about Gravity Sphere? Invoke the P? What are we looking at? Because as the prices rise, we are going to have a shifting of values on the secondary market that has not yet taken effect. Things like this, on the finance side of Magic the Gathering, it takes a very long time to get the really big wheels moving to see the ratcheting up of the pricing structure we right now have, because no individual store controls that pricing structure. It's a whole system of individual stores that slowly see sales happening and uptick. Even things like TCG Player and eBay, they are slow to make these changes. So for a little while, for the window, as the prices go up, there's this window of opportunity where players get to make these decisions and say, pardon me, do I want to go ahead and buy that sealed box, or do I want to buy a really good, decent reserve list card that's not coming back? Maybe it's a card they've always wanted, but just said, I can get a box for $100 and that card's $150. But when the box is $150 and the card is $140 because reserve list cards are down, or it's $110, $120, that's when players' minds will start to notice these shifts. They won't look at it right away, but all of a sudden, offhanded videos like this, they will see it. And they will go, why? Exactly. Why am I doing that? Why am I not buying that card? And that's when we'll see reserve list cards start to sell, and players will go ahead and shift their buying habits. And then players have to shift the pricing structure, and then the wheel starts to turn. Right now, you could go and buy 150 different reserve list cards for $1. There's tons of them. Some are even less. Some are like 60 cents, depending if you're buying light played, near mint, moderately played. You could buy 150 $1 cards. All of those cards might be worthless right now, but we don't know what's going to happen in the future. Nobody ever does. Nobody's got the crystal ball. But you're buying 150 reserve list cards. Or you're buying 1 box of Dominaria United, 1 box of Brothers, not even a box of Brothers War, because the prices have gone up on some of those boxes. 150 cards off the reserve list from one person not buying a box. Or one person buying a box of a product that will be reprinted and cards will come back around. This is going to be a very interesting time. This crossroads, this intersection that we're at hasn't even been noticed by the player base. My channel is not big. You guys are watching this video. What are you thinking about? As I'm saying these words to you, is it coming and ringing true? It's like, do I really need to buy that booster box? Couldn't I just buy some of the singles off of the secondary market of maybe the odd card that I need? And I could take that extra savings of cash and buy some low-end reserve list cards, or a moderate to higher level reserve list card like Earthcraft, Sword of the Ages, skip 2 boxes and buy a Mirror Universe. Skip 2 boxes and buy a low-end dual land that's heavily played, a card you maybe never thought you would own, but you've always been that person that buys 2 boxes. You've always been that person that buys the Commander products. This shift hasn't happened yet. There are a few people probably thinking about it just like I am. When I saw how much the boxes are going for, we've had another slight increase from my local stores for Brothers War coming up, and it makes me wonder, do I really want to buy a case for $1,000 something, right? 1,000 plus Canadian for 6 boxes of Brothers War? Or do I want to spend that $1,000 and get a Diamond Valley? Half of the price of a Bazaar of Baghdad. Are people really realizing that the reserve list cards, the secondary market older products, even non-reserve list, by the way, this also counts for non-reserve list. I'm just using reserve list cards as the focus because they're not coming back around. When you look at an older box of cards that had a lower print run, tighter restrictions on it, harder to get foils, whatever it may be that you're looking for, and that box hasn't jumped up in price yet, the secondary market hasn't realized the changes that have been happening on the front end of Wizards of the Coast, it's going to change. These shifts are going to happen. The question is when. When does the little wheels start turning all in unison, and then that bigger wheel comes along and starts to shift? That's what we don't know yet. So you can look at this window of opportunity, but every day, that window is going to get a little bit smaller. It's going to take months and months, but it's going to get smaller. The upshift I've seen in the reserve list sales of people buying lower end cards and then sending me those emails saying, look, I bought 100 copies of this for like $80. It was half the price of a booster box. And these are reserve list cards, Mox. Man, that's crazy. Yep, you're right, it is. Because it shouldn't be that way. Most of the cards in Magic are not going to be worth high value. But interconnecting cards like what happened with General Jarcold or Zubri the Golden Feather, what could happen with a Thrall Champion, these cards could become mainstays of decks in the future. It just hasn't happened yet. So do you take your chances and enjoy opening a great booster box that Wizards has produced for you? Or are you going to spend half that money, and buy 100 cards on the reserve list and start building up a reserve list position? More and more players are going to make that shift. They're going to realize what's happening. Even if they haven't noticed yet, I just put a video out about it. Depending on how many people see it, let's just say this video gets 2,000 views. Maybe, right? 2,000 views on this video. And all 2,000 people decide to spend $100. That's $20,000 buying low-end reserve list cards. Imagine the shift that would happen on the reserve list secondary market with that many cards leaving in one day. It would be a mass news thing the next day. And that's from 2,000 people, not 10,000, not 20,000, not 30,000. Imagine a bigger channel like Alpha Investments says that same thing. Imagine some other channels start talking about this and bringing it to light. The window will get small very fast. So if you're one of the viewers of my channel, you might want to think about this. You might want to take advantage of it now while the window is still bigger. Look at some of the cards, pay attention to some of the card to watch videos, see what's happening out there, and see if any of these cards even interest you. If they don't, you don't use any of this stuff, you think it's garbage, then skip it. Enjoy what you're doing and have an awesome time doing it. But if you're a financial person looking at some of the flipping possibilities, maybe some of the rarity cards like a metal worker coming into your collection because it costs as much as a booster box, this might be the time to grab that metal worker. This might be the time to grab some of these older cards from Arabian Nights that are still really underpriced. Maybe you're going to look at some Brother Wars cards and say, hey, some of these cards on the reserve list from Brothers War, why do I buy a collector box when I can buy an Argivian Archaeologist? There's a lot of options out there, and the math does not add up. Reserve list cards should not be this cheap, period. I'm loving it right now. I'm buying a whole smattering of cards to add to my Patreon collection for all the patrons on my channel. I'm buying them almost every day right now. I'm going to some financing. I'm saying I'm going to buy this, because it makes things better later on for me and the people around me. And how many other people are doing it? Don't know. Prices haven't shifted yet. But the little wheels at this point are probably turning because some people are starting to notice it, and that's why the sales are upticking. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks a lot for hanging out on the channel today. This is MTG Moxman. Players haven't noticed it yet, but they're going to. The question is when. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, a big shout out to all the fantastic people on this channel who support it each and every day. Patrons make the difference, guys. It's thanks to you that this channel exists. Thanks again, everyone. Have an awesome day. You guys want to know something really funny? You made it to the end of the video, right? Guess what? This is just a backdrop. I'm actually not at home right now. I took one of your guys' ideas and I found an image I could manipulate enough. See, it's me in the backdrop, me in the backdrop. This is not the same shirt. It's Dunder Mifflin here, right? Dunder Mifflin Infinity. Remember The Office? Great show. So I just kind of stood like this, right? You can't really tell what's going on. Is that pretty good? You guys fall for that? I know, it looks like I'm at home, but I'm not at home right now. I had to do some stuff, so I'm here filming. Anyway, thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. Thanks for falling for the backdrop. I'm sure I got you guys. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I know, right? I'll see you guys for the live stream, though, every Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's why you guys are the special people. Now pick up the popcorn. Come on, man. Leave this place a mess. What are you guys doing? Clean up after yourselves.